All right, here's my Zero. I started out with a 100% charge. When I started out with 100% charge, the range said 73 miles, but I was able to squeeze out 80 miles. And I was riding pretty hard too. Most of it was pretty hard mountain riding. I probably did maybe about 10 miles or so of this. 10 miles of it is probably city riding, but I was still also pretty fast. You know, every light I was at, you know, every green light I got, I just accelerated hard and stuff. So I basically I try to ride as hard as I can, see how, well, you know, what numbers I could get. So basically, hard riding, mostly mountain riding. 80 miles range that I actually got, the actual mileage, but the range is 73 because you know, because the range is based on how you rode previously, and it kind of calculates that way. So anyway, I have it on custom mode, and I have everything to be maximum except for the top speed, which is at 90 miles an hour. I set the top speed at 90. So as I go down, you know, as you go down in the state of charge, the power, you know, the voltage drops down, and as the voltage drops down, there's actually less power, and it's very gradual. It's not like some bikes where you get to like 80%, and also you could feel like a certain step that it goes, then the power just drops. This one is just as the percentage goes down, it just slowly goes down. By the time you get to probably in the 40% or so, that's, you know, under 50 basically, you'll feel the difference from compared to, say, when it was 100%. 100%, you feel that full torque, that full power. But by the time it gets under 50%, you notice that it's a little bit less power. It still has, you know, a lot of torque, but not as you know, not that arm ripping, you know, the arm pulling out of your shoulder socket torque. But you can still feel it. Anyways, as it drops down, usually when it drops down to you know, and once you get to 40 and lower, you slowly feel it diminishing as far as power, just slowly. When you get down to under 20, that's when the so prior to that, the range and the trip, it's very similar. You know, as you know, the calculation is very similar, but by the time you get down to 20% state of charge, the range drops really fast. You know, it drops much faster than it did before that. Then when it goes down to 10%, it drops even faster. You know, so at 10%, I was still able to get this bike up to 82 miles an hour, and as soon as it hit 9%, all of a sudden it's like, and then all of a sudden it's like a little bit over 70 miles an hour top speed that it could get. So you drop quite a bit. Then by the time it gets to 5%, it's only like at 5%. It was like, I think around 60 or so. I forget now what it was now. I have a whole bunch of numbers I'm trying to keep track of. When it got down to basically just as it got down to 0%, I was still able to do 40 or so miles an hour. And when I got down to 0%, the mileage right here still showed, I think it still showed over 2 miles. It still showed like 2.5 miles, 3 miles, or whatever it is. But as that mileage dropped down to about under 2 miles, the top speed was basically dropping down to like 32 miles an hour or so. So I'm at 0% already, and this is you know, showing about 2%. Then or excuse me, 2 miles. Then 1 mile, it drops, the speed drops down a little bit more. Then when it showed 0 miles, what it is right now, I was only able to go 8 miles an hour. So that's basically you know, where I'm at right now. So yeah. So let's see what else about this. So I'm gonna play around with my custom setting a little bit. Instead of setting it at top speed of 90 miles an hour, I think I'm gonna drop it down to 85 or maybe 80, probably 80, and just to see how that feels for me. Before I had it at 60, and it was kind of cool at 60. Even riding hard, I actually was able to get 100 miles. But I kept on hitting that 60, you know, top speed limit too often, and then it kind of bothered me. It, you know, basically it felt like you hit a rev limiter on an ice bike. when you hit the rev limiter, also like it cuts the power, so it feels like that. So I didn't like that. So that happened too often. So that's why I set it back to 90. But I'm actually gonna try it at 80 and see what the range I could get. But anyway, so this is at 90, and I was, again, I was riding hard, mostly through the mountains. And when I was riding city, I was always riding hard and fast. Oh, and also at this 0% state of charge and 0 miles, my voltage on the battery shows 92 volts. So battery shows 92 volts. And when it was at 100%, oh, I forgot what it was. Was it 115 or 116, something like that, around 115, 116 volts. So yeah, so what else about this? I think that's it. All right, thanks for watching. So I just plugged it in, and every time that I brought it down to 0% state of charge and I plug it in, the time estimate is always off, and it's off by at least a couple hours. Once it gets up to like 1% or whatever, this number will change quite a bit by a couple hours. Actually, usually most of the time when it's lower, it's always off. It usually takes like 5 minutes or something like that, or a little bit longer for the number to the time estimate to stabilize and be more accurate. But initially, usually it's a little bit off. Sometimes it shows a little bit short, like it is right now. It's only showing 7 hours, but sometimes it shows that it's longer than it is. So I'm not sure, as far as whatever the algorithm or whatever they use to calculate this, but it's not usually, when the lower the percentage of state of charges, seems like the less accurate it is. As it gets higher up, it seems to be more accurate. So anyways, but I also think because this, depending on the state of charge, because of lithium ion batteries, usually the lower it is, it tends to charge faster. As it gets closer, higher up in percentage state of charge, the charge rate slows down. So that's probably the reason. But it's anyways, it shows it's not, it's point is that initially it's usually not very it's not as stable in the first 5 minutes or so, sometimes even 15 minutes.